In sports, it's natural for fans to idolize the athletes and at times even raise them to the status of heroes. If you think about it, MMA is no different. Many of the fighters we watch and root for are the closest thing we have to comic book heroes. After all, some of the biggest stars in the UFC possess superhuman abilities, charisma, as well as worldwide popularity, just like their fictional counterparts. Spandex and secret identities aside, a handful of examples come to mind when it comes to athletes that possess qualities similar to our favorite comic book characters. Without further ado, here are 5 UFC fighters who could be real-life Marvel superheroes. Francis Ngannou as the Incredible Hulk. If you ask me to pick one Marvel superhero I would want to avoid in a fight at all costs, my answer is most definitely Bruce Banner's frightening alter ego, the Incredible Hulk. In the same vein, if you ask me the same question about a UFC fighter, the answer is UFC heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou. Not that I can fight any UFC fighter not named BJ Penn, but you know what I mean. Of course, no one utilizes brute strength and destructive punching power so well, quite like Ngannou does. The Predator's knockout power has been so reliable and effective that he has never relied on the judges to score a victory, not once. But don't get it twisted. Underneath Francis Ngannou's Hulk-like facade lies a mild-mannered and well-spoken gentleman. Frankly, Ngannou may have a Hulk-type appearance, but has proven that he has the smarts of Bruce Banner. The adjustments Ngannou made during his most recent fight against Stipe Miocic prove that he does not only rely on sheer power, but he is also intelligent enough to learn from his past mistakes. Kamaru Usman as the Black Panther. Over the years, Kamaru Usman has risen to the peak of the UFC mountaintop and has earned his status as the Octagon's top pound-for-pound monarch. With that in mind, it's only befitting to compare the reigning UFC welterweight champ to the most royal and regal Marvel hero, the Black Panther. Needless to say, Usman's path to the throne was anything but easy. The Nigerian Nightmare won 9 straight en route to a title shot against Tyron Woodley. As the champ, he defended the title 5 more times before being recognized as the top pound-for-pound fighter. Usman's journey is similar to Chala's ascent to the throne. In 2018's Black Panther, Chala did not simply inherit the crown, but he had to fight for it. In the film, Chadwick Boseman's Chala locked horns with Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger in a ferocious battle to determine the rightful king of Wakanda. In addition, Usman has always been proud of his Nigerian heritage. In his post-fight interviews, Usman often says, "Naija no de carry last," which loosely translates in English as Nigerians strive to finish first. While Wakanda is a fictional country, the movie Black Panther is similarly a celebration of African culture. And if you're paying close attention, you know that Usman is about that life. Alexander Volkanovski as Captain America, Australia. Okay, let's address the 2 biggest elephants in the room. Alexander Volkanovski is from Down Under, and therefore he'd be Captain Australia instead of Captain America. We are also aware that UFC legend George St. Pierre is an actual character in 2014's Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Those caveats aside, Volkanovski is actually the closest fighter to Steve Rogers when you think about it. Much like the captain, Volkanovski's greatest assets isn't his strength, power, or speed, although he surely possesses those attributes. What separates Volk from his fellow champions is something intangible. It's his indestructible fortitude and undying resolve. Similar to Captain America's showdown with Thanos in the Avengers Endgame, Volkanovski proves that he never gives up no matter how dire the situation. Against Brian Ortega, Volkanovski was caught in a dire situation when the challenger sleekly locked in a tight rear naked choke that would have made any other fighter in the UFC roster tap out. However, Volkanovski displayed the heart of a champion when he soldiered through the pain, refused to submit, and escaped from the jaws of defeat. Shortly after, Ortega caught Volkanovski in a triangle choke, his signature move, but even that was not enough to put Volk away. On top of that, those who watch Season 29 of The Ultimate Fighter know that Volkanovski is a tremendous leader. Despite suffering setback after setback at the beginning of the show, the featherweight champ served as a stabilizing force for his troops. In the end, Team Volkanovski overcame adversity with both winners coming from their squad. Rose Namajunas as Black Widow. Don't be fooled by the pretty face and petite stature. Rose Namajunas is one of the most lethal fighters on the UFC roster. One of the sleekest fighters to ever step foot inside the octagon, Namajunas could very well be the real-life version of super spy Black Widow. Thug Rose started training, learning martial arts at a very tender age of 5. As one would expect, a lifetime of combat training has turned Namajunas into a killing machine in her adulthood. Incidentally, Namajunas' life story is comparable to Natasha Romanoff's upbringing. In the comics, Romanoff, who later on became Black Widow, had spent the early years of her life training to become a living weapon. Black Widow, of course, is one of the most talented spies and assassins on the planet. However, she's possibly the most relatable member of the Avengers, as she's merely human, unlike her fellow heroes like Thor and the Hulk. In the same manner, Namajunas has a special way of connecting with MMA fans. Although Namajunas is the most talented striker in her weight class, Namajunas is far from the likes of Valentina Shevchenko and Kayla Harrison, who are considered gods in their respective divisions. Don't get me wrong, that's not to say Namajunas isn't at the same level as her fellow female champs. It just means we've seen her have vulnerable human moments in the octagon, but that's just another reason why it's so rewarding to root for her. Israel Adesanya as Spider-Man. On the heels of the successful release of Spider-Man No Way Home, let's discuss who the UFC equivalent is for the friendly neighborhood web slinger. The obvious answer, of course, would be the former middleweight champion Anderson Silva. I mean, he's even called the Spider for crying out loud. But if you think about it, a different middleweight star embodies Peter Parker's upbeat personality and childlike quirks on a deeper level, and that's none other than reigning 185-pound king, Israel Adesanya. Like Spider-Man, Adesanya doesn't have the most imposing physical appearance in his own division, let alone the entire UFC roster. Based solely on physique, middleweight contenders Paulo Costa, Derek Brunson, and Bellator MMA's Yoel Romero look like the baddest 185-pounders on the planet. However, one thing they have in common is that they got their behinds kicked by the lanky and lean Adesanya. The last stylebender may not be a striking presence at first glance, but he has proven time and again that his speed and precision are tools he can always lean on to win fights. Not to mention that he's a self-proclaimed nerd, just like our favorite freelance photographer.